worst Zepbound day, 112-pound Zepbound 15 milligrams weight loss structure and why it's the worst. Hi, beautiful friends. We're going to deep dive into that. I'm Elizabeth. I've lost 112 pounds over the last almost 3 years of being on Zepbound, Mounjaro, and Tirzepatide compound, which is GLP-1 plus GIP. And on today's episode, I want to deep dive into the worst GLP-1 day or Zepbound day, and also the best. If we're going to do negatives, we also have to do positives and be solution oriented in it. And I got this concept from Alex Hormozi, who's my business coach. Him and Layla Hormozi, I fly out to Las Vegas to be coached and mentored by them. And Alex recently did an episode talking about like an ideal day and what does that entail for a best day. And that really got me thinking of, okay, what's my best day? And then, okay, what's my best day in relation to GLP-1 weight loss and in relation to Zepbound weight loss? Like, what does that look like? What does that entail? And so I thought it would be an interesting episode today. I've really thought a lot about this, of what would entail to be the worst and the best. And one of the things I'm going to tell you is that while I've lost 112 pounds, the scale is not going to be a part of this. And I know for many of you, clutch your pearls, honey. She's not going to talk about the scale. Yes, queen or king, I'm not going to talk about the scale because for me, that relinquishes my power. And what Zepbound and GLP-1 weight loss has given me back my power, I want to reclaim that, take that back under my own ownership, my own accountability, without pushing that off to the side for these other factors, which the scale can be another factor beyond my control. I have control over a lot of things, and there's a lot of things I don't have control over. And this little electronical device can be dictated by, this is crass, but a poop. It can be dictated if I had too much water the night before. If I have something in there that's making water retention to hold the water in me, that's going to dramatically change the scale dramatically up or down a couple of pounds. Like, no, thank you. I don't want that to dictate if it's a good day or a bad day. And before GLP-1 weight loss, before you started taking Zepbound or Wegovy, did you allow the scale to dictate your day? I know I did. And I refuse to allow that to happen to me. So therefore, there's actually 10 components, but I'm gonna put it in a bigger umbrella than that. I started to break it down and I was like, 10 things is a lot. That's a lot. Like, if all goes up in the fan, that's a lot to have to do. And so for me, the overarching umbrella for what the worst day is or a good day is for my Zepbound weight loss, which by the way, I don't like defining things necessarily by that. Like when people say good foods or bad foods, y'all know I believe that our strength is found in our tongue, and what we say matters, what we think matters, because that's going to come out of our mouths, and what comes out of our mouth is going to come out in our actions. And so therefore words are super, super important to be intentional with. So defining foods good or bad, I don't like labeling that. But instead with this, for a good day on GLP-1 or a bad day on Zepbound, I like to say the overarching umbrella is next loving choices. These are supposed to be little spoke wheels on them, little wheels spoking off of this. And so there are little mini concepts on there. Did I do the controllable of myself? There's a lot of uncontrollable, but things that I could manage. Did I accomplish those? That falls under the next loving choices. And under those next loving choices, some days are going to be really, really hard. If you'll notice today, I have no makeup on. I'm exhausted. I have worked to the bone for my family recently, for my job, for a couple of clients, for a bunch of different reasons. And plus it's Q4 and that's just what I do just what happens. And I know that. I'll sleep more in January and February. And so with that, the next loving choices for me may be a little bit different now than they will be in January and February. You feel me? Like every day is not going to be consistent like this. I'd love it to be, but as a mom and other people who depend on me, particularly as a mom, for a younger one, every day is not going to be the same because it's not within my control. If my kid goes to school or not, that dictates if I have 8 hours to myself or not, just that alone. Childcare help, that alone. So next loving choices is how this good day, bad day thing falls under. It does not relate to the scale at all. And so from that, what these next loving choices do, and I'm going to break them down. You're going to walk away. You have my promise to walk away from this video with 10 awesome choices to think about, to percolate on, to see what you do well with, things what you need to work on. It's a stair-step up approach for this. We're going to stair-step up our life for permanent lifestyle changes. Because I don't know about you, this is my philosophy. almost 3 years into it. January, it will be 3 years on this. To completely changing my life from somebody who's morbidly obese to doing this, and to doing this, and to doing this, and to doing this. Like doing all of these things when I was morbidly obese that I could not do, goes back to small incremental changes. It's one stair step up at a time. I think the media loves to paint these broad strokes about Ozempic weight loss, bum. And for me, that's not really been the reality. It's why I have a daily show, daily gradual changes. Because y'all, I love big cheese wheels. I want one so badly for Christmas, one of those big Parmesan cheese wheels, but I don't know where I'd put it in my house, but I've been debating seriously about getting one. And my husband's like, you're not getting one. And I'm like, I really want one because I could eat just little bites of it. And the article I just did on Parmesan cheese, how it has so much extra protein in it. I'm like, see, it fits in with my lifestyle. But eating that cheese wheel one little bite at a time. Let's get back to the task at hand. I got on a tangent. Squirrel. So these small incremental bites, that's how we make permanent lifestyle changes. I don't know about you, but when I'm making these broad strokes, that's not permanent for me. That's broad strokes where I get burned out and I stop doing it. What I want and where my life has been, and you can go back, I have the blessing of, I have over 1,100 last count, 1,100 YouTube videos. You can go back in my whole arsenal of those and go watch all of them if you wish. Some of them are pretty cringe, and that's okay. And some of them are amazing, honey. They're amazing. But these stair step up, that's been my approach with this, is little changes. Through, is it a next loving choice? Because you know what shame guilt combination got me before GLP-1 medication? Obese, binging my brains out at night, hiding food in the garbage can, taking food out of the garbage can and eating it. Someone was talking about that in my free encouragement group. I'll link that down below, by the way. And about how they were eating food out of the garbage can, and it totally took me back. I was like, oh, been there, done that. Been there, done that multiple times. And my husband saw me do it, and I was like, ooh, I didn't really want him to see that part. Like, that was supposed to be kept secret. And then he saw that. I was like, oh, man, there's no takesy-backs on that visualization. And so the small next loving choices, this is where, again, each day can vary. And for me, it's contingent upon a lot of things that are outside of my control, but these are the like on a perfect ideal day. But if I'm doing some of these, I'm in a really good day place. So we have the worst day on Zepbound for me is focusing in on the scale. That for me is probably like the worst high. That is the highest of the stair step. Is the worst day is focusing in on the scale, having profuse side effects. By the way, diarrhea, constipation, nausea, vomiting, super real. It's something like 30%ish of people have the just vomiting component alone. So I need to check my source. You guys know I demand and require I'm factually accurate. That's off the top of my head. I need to check that. But it's a lot, just on one of those, diarrhea, constipation, nausea, vomiting. So that to me is the worst day. Having a ton of side effects, being cranky because I'm tired because of Zepbound fatigue, because that can affect so many things. Focusing in on the scale, and then focusing on the scale, and then the scale not moving. Like that is the worst HE double hockey sticks. I do not wish that on anyone because that is a very frustrating place to be, and I've been there for decades. I'm not in that place anymore. I'm not in that place anymore. One of the reasons is I've switched my scales. And so I do more data than just the weight number. It will make you mental in my humble experience if you're not measuring things other than that. Particularly if you are doing things like weight training, because I'll tell you what, that scale has not, well, wait till my next weigh-in. The scale has changed in some beautiful, amazing ways. I can't wait to share it. So click that like and subscribe so you can see that. So number one, next loving choice. This seems basic, but in the morning, do I have water when I wake up? And I drink half. Y'all, I'm fun at parties. I drink decaf coffee. I always feel like I have to give the caveat. Like, I swear I'm not a teetotaler. Like, I'm a fun person. Is that the right word? That's not the right, I don't think that's the right word. I swear I'm a fun person, but I do drink decaf coffee because having too much coffee, I talk way too fast already as it is. And then add on caffeine that like, so we have half calf. But I have to have water when I wake up. That for me is a loving choice. Hydration. Then number two to that loving choice is throughout the day, am I drinking something? Or am I being pruny? Am I refilling my daggone 40-ounce tumbler? You know what I'm talking about. Some of you are like, yes, I drank my water when I woke up and I didn't have anything else for the rest of the day. Many of you are teachers and nurses, and bless, you don't control the times that your bladder has to go because you're on the clock. Like, you can't leave a room full of first graders. I mean, you could, but it makes it more difficult, the puzzle pieces. Or if you're a nurse and you have somebody who's really, really sick, like, I'm sure that affects, I haven't been one, but I could only imagine that, like, be staying hydrated and planning out the restroom breaks. If you're a truck driver, we've got so many truck drivers that watch this channel. Toot toot if you're a truck driver. Stopping to go to the bathroom, things like that. Like, staying hydrated throughout the day, right? That for me is an intentional, loving, conscious choice. Because that is not my skill set to be like, oh, let me go drink my water. Skip to my loo, my darling. Let's go get some water. No, ma'am, Pam. Number 3, intentional, loving choice for me is fiber intake. Am I selecting foods that have high fiber content in them? You know what happens when I don't? My tummy doesn't feel good. I've learned, because a lot of trial and error with this, of what makes my stomach feel good on GLP-1 medication and what makes my stomach not feel good. On Zepbound, I feel so much better having a high fiber diet. We are going to Chipotle after I film this video. We're gonna go to Chipotle. You know why I wanna go to Chipotle? I want a ton of protein and a ton of romaine lettuce, and they better fill that sucker up in my bowl. I'm gonna be like, give me extra helping of romaine lettuce. Don't be stingy. Skimp on the rice and give me, I really want romaine lettuce. I'm craving it, so that tells me that I probably need something within the romaine lettuce. That for me, the fiber intake, it's real. Earlier today, I had oatmeal because I wanted the fiber in it. I had also an apple because I wanted the fiber in it. Eating the skin with the apple. What did we say in the last fiber video? We need, what is it? For women, it's 25 grams per day of fiber. An apple only has 5 grams. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a lot more fiber I gotta make up. Number 4, this is one that I talk about one of the most because I think it's one of the hardest next loving choices for me to learn and find the puzzle pieces of what feels right. Because part of this permanent lifestyle loving choices is a hinge pin that I do have to enjoy it. Yeah, I'm like you. I can do anything short term. I can grit my teeth and do it. I can sit through the dentist appointment when they're drilling my teeth. Recently had to do that. I can sit there and grin and bear that because it's short term. But if we're talking about lifestyle changes of staying with something that is, no, I'm too old for that at this point. I really don't. I will save that reserve to grim and bear things for other things that don't relate back to, like, weight loss, health, things like that. And so for me, it's protein intake. Number 4 of our best Zepbound day choices is protein intake, planning and prioritizing. And I say planning and prioritizing because I have to plan it and I have to prioritize it. Because if I don't, I won't. Anyone else like that? For me, I have to have 100 to 135 grams per day. That takes planning. That takes prioritization. If I don't, do you know what happens when I don't track? Because then I'll track it later. I'll track it like the next day or the day after out of curiosity, because that's how I learn. It's 50 grams of protein. I'm supposed to have 100 to 135. So it's less than half, more than less than half of what I'm supposed to have for protein. Ooh. No thanks. Like, like, that's why it takes planning and prioritization. Do I have the actual protein in my refrigerator? I was gonna mix with, we had those butternut squash. If you guys saw my Costco food haul, it's week 2 or 3 that we've had the butternut squash raviolis. They're so good. A whole cup. You could go watch the Costco haul after this. It was like 1 cup was 230 calories. Not the highest protein on it. I think it was, like, off the top of my head, 8 or 9 grams of protein. But I was gonna add ricotta cheese into it and mix it with just a little bit of tomato sauce, but mainly to cover the ricotta cheese within that to bump up the protein. Could I do cottage cheese to have even more protein? I could, but I didn't want to. Because I'm not a huge cottage cheese fan. I like Greek yogurt a lot more. And so I didn't do the planning part. I didn't buy the ricotta in my last grocery haul. So I didn't have that. I was like, man, I'm missing out on an opportunity for my planning and prioritization to have that protein. Why do we focus in on protein so much? I'll use my I statements. Why do I focus in on protein so much with my GLP-1 weight loss, particularly for like Zepbound 10 milligrams, Zepbound 12.5 milligrams, and Zepbound 15 milligrams? Why do I focus in on it so much? Muscle mass loss. Muscle mass loss. It is redonk I can just look at my bottom, not to be crass or gross. Stare at my bottom next time you see me. It's a flapjack, honey. If you have a pancake, like an IHOP pancake, that's my bottom. It is a shelf. If you see those Karens who like, you see those like TikTok videos of like Karens going off on people and then they're like, and then she had a flat shelf bottom. I'm like, that's me. I wouldn't be a Karen, hopefully not, but I do have a flat shelf bottom where it's like, boom. There is no gadunk, but I'm working on it. And I have a hard time with squats. That really, really hurts my knees. So doing things lifting wise that don't like, that are substitutions instead of that, because that really does hurt my kneecap. Even just looking at that, I can hear my knees being like, which is less because of my collagen, which collagen recommendations are in the description link below too. But planning the priority to have protein helps with muscle mass loss. Now, the media likes you to believe that muscle mass loss happens with GLP-1 weight loss only. No, babes, it's for any sort of substantial weight loss. Bariatric surgery patients, Weight Watchers, Atkins, keto, soup diet, Nutrisystem, you name the weight plan where you lose weight, you're gonna have muscle mass loss with that, right? Because if you're carrying around a 300-pound body and it goes down 112 pounds, the muscle is of course going to change. Like just logically, just think it just makes sense, right? But I want to protect my bones, that structure underneath. That's what the muscle mass component for, is to help protect our bones, right? And so that protein intake in there helps to build that muscle, which helps protect the bones, which helps prevent, when we get older, one of the leading causes of a lot of problems is falling and breaking bones. And I had the unfortunate gift of having to have ankle surgery a few years back, and how it was like traumatizing in the sense, and I use trauma, that's not the best word. I don't like that. That's an inflammatory word. It was memorable and imprinted on my brain how much I don't want to live that. It was like the beginning of the end for me of like, I weigh 300 pounds and I'm going to die a gruesome death because it's going to be a lot of injuries and I'm not going to be able to move. And I wasn't able to move with that ankle surgery. It was very, very hard. It stunk. And I also had that when my son was born. He came out of the NICU and I was in a scooter because I broke my foot, and then like a boot. And so that was awful. That was another awful. Anyways, all of that to say, being immobile, I've experienced that life, and that's not me. That's not the vibe check I'm going for. We are going for movement. We are going for being out, being active, being independent. I don't want to be reliant upon a caretaker, which is why protein matters, and planning and prioritizing for our next loving choice. Number 5, next loving choice, mindful eating. I feel like this one, the media grabs a hold of a lot of stuff. This is one that I don't hear about it as much as I'd like to, because it's something for me that has been, if one of the top 3, if not the top 5 biggest changes, was mindful eating for me. I'm not a superstar at mindful eating, but I'm so much better further along than I was when I first started this journey with being mindful with my eating. I try, for the most part, not just to eat copious amounts of food, because I can't. My body won't let me, so I can't, even if I really wanted to, which I've tried. It doesn't work out so well for me. But being mindful and centered, give me this daily bread, and thank for that daily bread as well. Me pausing before I eat to check in with that is important, just to take a beat. And I don't always take a beat because life can get busy and enriched and full. And today, literally, a friend, her husband's been really, really sick. And then she's had a ton of stuff to do in our community. And then her brother just passed. And so I'm like, can I get you dinner? So I didn't really have time to get her dinner. And I meant I was going to get her dinner as in like DoorDash and have it drop off at her house, but I would pay for it and organize it. And then it was from something we live in a small town that wasn't on the DoorDash. And I was like, oh, I have to go pick it up now. And I don't have time to go pick it up right now. And my kid has tutoring. My husband has his own workout that he's scheduled with me, because that's intentional. We schedule our workouts to make sure it stays on the schedule. And so I had to go do this. And I was like, oh man, that's made me that's pushed my limits too much. And that's something, I'm sharing that story because it's something I'm still learning. Because when I do stuff like that, overbook myself, it affects my mindful eating. Because I feel like, I gotta eat fast. Do you guys have that at all? Am I just the only one who has that? Of where I eat very, very quickly. Da, 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 da. But when I slow the tempo, when I slow the beat, I'm mindful, I'm centered, I eat within my calorie deficit range, I eat when I'm supposed to. It's this whole mindset shift, but I have to be intentional about it. And how that intentionally happens for permanent lifestyle changes is the daily check-in. It's contingent upon my daily routine and daily check-in with that. Number 6, nutrient-dense foods. My next loving choice is, am I having nutrient-dense foods? And sometimes I don't hit the mark on that, and sometimes I really hit the mark, and I give myself a big pat on the back. And I've worked really hard this year, I feel like, really, really hard this year on making intentional nutrient-dense foods, like Greek yogurt, for example, chia seeds, fruit, vegetables. I had oats earlier today. I waited too long to eat, and so I got really hungry. And so I made a big bowl. It was just a half a cup of oatmeal, put a ton of fruit into it, chia seeds, just a little bit of oats, a little bit of honey on there. And then I didn't add milk to it. You could, because it has extra calcium. I just added a little bit of water, and it was like the best low calorie, but high fiber, dense, nutrient dense thing. I was so happy. I was like, I'm really grateful I made that choice. Really, really grateful. And then after that, I had a protein shake. And so it's ticking off these little goals. And what happens when we do these, I'm only at number 6, by the way, these loving choices, is esteemable acts build self-esteem. And so I say this to my kid all the time too. So feel free to take that for your kids or for your grandkids, but it's true. When we do esteemable acts, it builds self-esteem. It gives confidence that we can do things. And for me, for sure, I needed confidence around food and weight loss because I had none. Because every single diet I had been on, I had gained every single pound back. And so to be like, oh, I can do this. I can eat a bowl of oatmeal. Like, I don't have to like go off the rails and go to McDonald's and get a McDonald's breakfast because I can't cook for myself. Yes, I can. I can cook something delicious, easy, nutritious, and that fills me up. And that leads to these next loving choices with them. So I don't have the worst day. Because when I'm not eating properly, it also does lead. That's another component of the worst Zepbound day or worst GLP-1 day is not eating good food, or food that I know, like fried foods, that will make me have blowout diarrhea. I can have a little bit. But we went to Five Guys Burgers, which was awesome. It was so good. I ate 3/4 of the burger. That actually didn't blow out my stomach. I knew it was the French fries were gonna get me. I just had a little bit of French fries. Y'all, I was the happiest clam. I was still in my calorie deficit. I had protein because of the burger. I got a little bacon on there. I got green peppers and onions on it. It was so good. I really enjoyed it. I just had a little bit of French fries. My hot husband and my son had been playing soccer for a long time. They were sweaty Betty, and they're like, can we eat the rest of the fries? Do you want any? I was like, sure. I also knew because it would blow out my stomach. My stomach cannot handle that anymore for me. And so going back to the nutrient dense foods, number 7, the next loving choice for me is am I moving and am I lifting within that? Now, one of y'all asked me, you said, I can't lift yet. I just walk. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that was me my first year. Maybe they hadn't heard that part of my story, that for me, I did not lift for well after the first year. All I could do was walk my dog, and y'all, that was beautiful. That gave me confidence because esteemable acts build self-esteem. Many of you are asking for my weight training video about how I started lifting. It was senior wall Pilates. You asked me what my favorite one is here on YouTube. You try them out for you. I like the lady that's on her back upside down with her legs in the air with the blue leggings on. I don't know her name, and I also don't really want to promote her channel either. I don't know her, so I don't like, I'll promote someone's channel if I know them, right? Like Gloria, for example, in the comments, I love promoting her channel. Downsizing Diva, I know her because I was just on her channel. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain channels, I want to promote them. The senior wall Pilates, forgive me that I don't put her link in. It's because hopefully that makes sense. But if you don't know how to move or lift, the point in which I'm trying to say is moving in the capacity that's best for you. Someone in the comments wrote, it was in my free encouragement group. Was it in the free encouragement group? I'm forgetting where the source was on it, but they are permanently disabled. They cannot leave their house. And they were talking about the best movement that they could do being disabled. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Do you know how inspiring you are that you are trying being disabled? Like, that is awesome. You do what you best can do. I think that's the big hinge pin of this is that the best I can do, right? And some days it's not gonna be the best. It's the best is me just even doing something, right? Today, I'm exhausted, trust and believe. I leave for New York City here shortly. I'm exhausted. And the best that I can do is going to go lift. But it doesn't have to be this grandiose thing. Does that make sense? My kid's moving and I can tell it's about time for us to go here. So I'm going to wrap this up. Number 8 is tracking. Number 9 is sleep and hygiene. Sleep and hygiene. I think that that really matters a lot. That's in sleep, and then hygiene is 10. So those make for my family. They're waiting for me to go to Chipotle. I can hear them. They're like, it's time to go eat. I hope that helps discern between the worst GLP-1 day, Zepbound GLP-1 day, and I want to know what your definition is, because it's going to be different for everybody. These are just some of mine, and you'll probably teach me something in the comments if you have additional ideas. So write number 11 and tell me in the comments. Use bullet points, don't use long paragraphs because I can't read that. Bullet points is how I will be able to understand what you're saying. When people write these, and in my free encouragement group, please write bullet points. I want to read what you say, but if you write in a long paragraph with no return key or no bullet points, I will not read it, and I want to. Our emoji of the day today is going to be a blue circle. A blue circle. Why do you say blue, Elizabeth? Because I have this blue Sharpie marker. Whenever I do these posters, I use my smelly markers because it makes me so happy. It takes me back to my childhood. And it makes me happy. That one's blueberry. So blue circle is going to be our, and if you don't have, someone was writing too, it's cracking me up. They're like, I can never find the emoji. I'm like, then you can just type in blue if you want as well. Well, no, it's our bat code. It's our secret code. It's also my way to pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, I'll uplift you in positive thought. If you made it this far in the video, that probably means we're besties, bestie. I love you guys so super much. Today, focusing on what you can control. Control the controllables. And then release and let go of the things you can't. Things I can change and things I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. My sweet friends, I love you so much. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. I'll see you tomorrow, besties. Have a great day.